Finally.
What it do? Bedtime crew. Hey man, listen, today I'm gonna put Dricus du Plessis in the A tier. I think Dricus would be a goated teacher.
Now, let me hear what he has to say. Now, Dricus would grade your papers off of a coin flip. Dricus would go, oh bro, it's common sense, to he would say the test makers are wrong rather than him being wrong. Shakespeare did not say that. And then later when the staff is questioning him on why he's so obviously going against the curriculum, I never said that Shakespeare didn't say that. Shakespeare definitely said that. He just didn't mean it in this way. He would be a fun teacher for sure, but no one would ever learn anything from his class. And to the people who don't care and they can learn on their own, I'm not gonna lie, Dricus would be a fun teacher. He's got that down. But A tier? Nah, dude, not A tier. If you don't care about that kind of learning in class, you could study on your own time. Everything can be learned on YouTube anyways. But for a lot of the people that are normies that, don't know how to use this stuff, they don't use ChatGPT or anything like that, Dricus would totally derail a handful of promising academic careers, Oh, you should have learned this last year. Oh, but Mr. du Plessis told us to solve it this way. And he would totally just give them just the worst advice because it happened to work for him.
Bro, what are you doing in my class? You're disrespecting my classroom. But then when you're cool with him, he's funny as fuck.
Exactly. I understand why he put him in A tier, but you got to also think about the fact that you're going to be lost years down the line because he's not even teaching you anything. This is the problem with all these tier lists, bro. They rank people too highly. A tier is among the best, and S tier is just reserved for the best. In order to be an A tier, you gotta sort of future-proof these tier lists. In the same way that MMA is becoming increasingly styleless and you have to be good everywhere, you have to be an all-rounder. If you want to be an A tier, a teacher, you have to be good everywhere. You have to not only be a fun teacher, you also have to be effective at teaching. You know what? Let me fix this. I get what he's saying with this, but no. Dricus goes in the B tier. And you know what? While we're at it, let's have a little baseline right in the center of the tier list, C tier, C for Cory. Because out of all the UFC fighters, if he retires, he's the most likely to go teach in some high school. He's our benchmark, C tier, middle of the road. Sometimes he's boring, sometimes he can be a little interesting. He would definitely show favoritism to the students that are well behaved. There's really not much to say about him. Oh, this is how he would be as a teacher. He probably would be a teacher.
You get on his bad side, it's not going to be excuse me, can you be quiet? Dricus is going to be bro, you're going to be unemployed like your dad soon. Mate, I met your dad, he's unemployed. You're going to be like him if you're not paying attention in my class. You do not need to be worrying about games at the back. You got a 34 in the last exam. And
dude, I had a teacher like that. He was great. He was amazing.
Saw you talking to Jessica, bro. She doesn't like you, bro. Do you seriously think she likes you, bro? We can't put him in the S tier because he literally will send you home crying if you get on his fucking bad side. So for that
gives him points, in my opinion. That's character development.
Parents get there in the fucking parent-teacher interview. Bro, I don't know what he's talking about that I've disrespected him, and I'm the most respectful teacher in the school.
You know when some administrator sits in the classroom to see how the teachers do, he would be a completely different teacher.
Next guy to talk about, let's put T-City in the B tier, man. Listen, dude, it is what it is, dude. Straight up, dude.
Hey, Mr. Ortega, can you help me with this question? I'm glad you asked.
You guys could listen to music, dude. I don't really care, dude. Just keep it down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And if the teacher comes in, if somebody else comes in, just act like we're doing something, dude. Brian Ortega would...
That's so facts. You know what? I'm putting Brian Ortega. He's right about B tier.
Give you the answer if you ask him nice enough,
Exactly. Dricus would not be chill like that. He'd be chill in a totally different way. He wouldn't give you the answer if you ask nicely.
Yeah, dude, it's probably B, I'm pretty sure, dude. I don't even know, dude, straight up. I don't even teach this subject, dude. You gotta hit her up, and then when she replies, just hard it and don't reply back for 2 days, bro. That would be, dude, Brian Ortega would be an S-tier teacher if he was teaching some, Hoodville fucking terminologies and shit, dude.
That's what I'm saying. He's equal to Dricus, if not higher.
Henry Cejudo's going in the C tier, man. I can't stop imagining Henry Cejudo. Dude. He's the guy that just gets...
Henry Cejudo is worse than the C tier. Actually, he might be C tier. Because it's not like he would do anything really bad to the class, He would want to try to be cool with the students. He'd be, oh yeah, guys, look, I'm cool too, So he would kind of let you do what you wanted. He would be the type of teacher to never stop talking about his glory days of when he peaked in high school or college or whatever. When a teacher starts going off and telling some story, some life story, when they're supposed to be giving some lecture, and all students just shut up and just listen so they can buy time. It's not even a good story. Other teachers will have good stories. Henry Cejudo, though, he'll just like have an insatiable desire to tell the stories, and everyone would just be like, yeah, go ahead, keep telling the story, just to kill time.
Standing in front of a classroom. Hey, listen, guys. Guys, let me just get your attention
Exactly.
up here, guys.
It won't be able to do anything.
Listen, guys.
You know what? I agree with this assessment. I agree with C tier.
Guys, Mr. Usman's here now. You guys gotta listen up. Mr. Usman walks in. Hey, y'all better put some respect on this dude's name.
That's exactly how it would be. Oh my God, that's exactly how it would be.
I don't want to come back in here again. I'm a problem.
But that's so
But
spot on.
Cejudo, I just think you would get bitched by a class.
Already noticing a little bit of a... they're not spread out enough to notice a bit of a trend, but smaller weight classes and then bigger weight classes. Damn, I just followed the list. Okay, but he's not including Sean O'Malley, but you know what? We'll include him. Sean O'Malley's D tier. He would only care about like letting you get away with stuff as long as you're like never an inconvenience at all. If you piss him off once, even once, he will make you do worksheets and never speak again for the rest of class. Otherwise, you get in trouble. See, the way you gotta remember how he is at like press conferences, bro. He'd just be the most boring, lifeless. Like he'd just be sitting at his desk, like tell some other student, hey, can you hand out these worksheets? I could see a reality where he is the type of teacher to like just roll out the TV every time, every class. But like, look at his personality lately, bro. He'd probably honestly get like pretty pissed at some students. Like he would make a point of having favorites, not even to hide it. Like he would want people to know that he has favorites. But being like his favorite wouldn't even be like that great. You'd probably be sitting closer to his desk and he'd be like telling you stories about, oh bro, you know, last night was a movie. And everyone who was there would be like, oh, bro, that's so cool. But then when you actually like pay attention and listen, you'd be like, yo, this guy is actually kind of a loser. But Merab, on the other hand, he'd be one of those teachers you remember for life. You got to think about it. Look at all the skits he does, right? He would be making skits out of the lessons plans. He would be bringing props and show up to school wearing costumes. Like nobody would show up, but he would be completely unembarrassed, shameless. Like he'd be cracking jokes all the time and making like really stupid teacher puns. Honestly, bro, I'm going A tier because even though he wouldn't be as chill as like a Brian Ortega where he would probably just give you all the answers like if you just asked him nicely, Merab would make you put in that work. He would make you actually like try, but he would give you every possible resource you need to succeed in the class. And he would make learning fun. That's what's respectable about the teachers that I'm probably going to put in the higher tiers, when they make learning fun. But I can't put him in S tier, bro, because like S tier means like perfect, you know? He would probably be a little annoying to have earlier on the day. You probably want to have him in the later periods. Imagine waking up, hey everybody, today we're going to learn about the fall of Constantinople. Like, dude, it's 7 a.m. Calm down. But he would be like a really well-liked, like well-known teacher throughout the school as like one of the students' favorites. At lunch, he'd probably be like hanging out with like the sped kids. They'd probably get along really well.
This guy's definitely A tier. We're gonna put Dustin.
Dustin's not A tier, bro. You can't overinflate A tier like this. I'm not saying he would be a bad teacher. He would be a good teacher, but not A tier. Let's see what his points are.
In the diamond in the A tier because Dustin Poirier is a funny dude. We all fuck with him. You know, you roast this guy a little bit too high. Mr. Poirier, aren't you dude, come on, dude. You're a fucking scumbag, dude. Don't say shit like that to me, dude. Get out of my class, dude.
That would happen pretty often, I feel. Because he's such a fan favorite, because everyone's so nice with him, he's really like easygoing. But if you were to piss him off, he would go off. Like it doesn't take much to like set this guy off, honestly. It just never happens to him. That's why we all think of him as like such a calm, peaceful guy, because nobody ever wants to be on his bad side. In a higher pressure situation, he's the type to like be really stuck up, honestly. I don't know why everyone thinks he's such a chill guy. He's not such a chill guy, bro. Imagine Dustin Poirier, like while you're taking a test, everyone's taking a test, he'd be the type of teacher, nobody else would be doing this. Even like the stricter teachers who would just be lazy, they would not be, he'd be walking around like patrolling, making sure no one's cheating. He'll sweat the small things. Like he'll let little things like really, really get to him. He'll be on teacher's lounge, like so pissed off, borderline crying because they call, you know, Justin Gaethje Coach Gaethje. They, you know how when a teacher's really cool, you apply the label coach rather than Mr.? So they call him Mr. Poirier, but they call Justin Gaethje Coach Gaethje. And all the other teachers, instead of like being in a good mood, like happy, joyous mood, they come back to their class or like having a good time. They'd be like, oh bro, we feel for you. We feel for you, Dustin. You really gotta think about it. I get that he's a fan favorite, so people are gonna disagree with me, but if you piss this guy off, he's the type to go like, you know what, dude, why don't you teach the class? I'm going to put him in the D tier, which is honestly, is not terrible. Most teachers are D tier teachers, like in real life.
The only thing I would knock Poirier on is he does get a little bit salty. He does have that weird energy that he's...
Yeah, where he takes things too seriously. Yeah.
Do not let this man anywhere near a fucking classroom. Do not put this guy in an inner city high school. Joe Pyfer. Dude.
Oh my god.
Dude, Joe Pyfer.
Nah, Joe Pyfer does not belong on this list, bro. Get him off this list. I'm becoming excellent friends with everyone in Joe Pyfer's class because that's... If there's ever to be a school shooter that emerges... That's the class it's coming from. 100% we have narrowed down our list of suspects. So I guess there is like that benefit to it, you know? If you know what you're doing, you can be friends with the school shooter and get away with it. So I'm not going to remove him from the list.
Leon Evans would be a teacher I would love to fucking have as a substitute teacher, but for all the wrong reasons, because I know he would crumble under the pressure of a classroom of 20 kids.
Nah, that's actually so fast. This one's spot on. Leon Edwards is spot on. Good job with this one. He would be a great substitute teacher specifically for Khamzat, who would never show up to class. C tier? Yeah, I agree. Spot on. And Khamzat Chimaev would just miss hella days. Every time he shows up, they'd be like, yo, wait, you're still employed? Like, he'd be known as the guy who's there less than the subs.
Ability to speak to people. Imagine you bring your mum in on parent-teacher interview. Are you Arab? Oh, sorry, I just wonder. Don't know. Bryce Mitchell, I'm sorry, brother. I don't think you're gonna get the job as a teacher, man.
No, dude.
Imagine
way off. Damn, bro. I thought Bedtime MMA was more based than that. I thought he knew. I thought he understood. Bryce Mitchell would immediately. He'd be the best history teacher of all time to ever exist. You go, fuck the lesson plan. They're indoctrinating you. They're feeding you with lies. Here's what really happened. And he'd send kids down the rabbit hole. And he would, like, change lives. Bryce Mitchell would create ripple effects that, like, ring for the ages. And he would go down as, like, one of the most influential teachers of all time, like, in the world.
You know, I'm trying to think from the perspective of if I would hire this guy to be a teacher or some shit, right? Bryce Mitchell walks into the classroom.
Oh, I'm thinking about it from the perspective of a student.
So I've actually canceled all your other classes. You got 6 hours with me today.
Exactly.
We're going to talk about the flat earth. We're going to talk about all the lies that they've been telling you.
Exactly.
Keep in mind, he's talking to like a 3rd grade classroom. So for that reason alone, not to mention you get him as your son.
That's the thing. For that reason, he goes in higher tier.
Maybe I'm wrong, bro. But for me, personally, I think...
I like how Bedtime threw that in there. Because he doesn't really know. It's such a shame. I thought he was better than... I thought he noticed. And you know what? Speaking of Bryce Mitchell, let's also throw in Paulo Costa while we're at it. Because he's sort of in the same vein, you know? Paulo Costa would... I mean, he wouldn't take it so seriously. He would actually have nothing going for him. Like, a complete min-max of a teacher, right? He would have 0 attributes everywhere else. Except for the fact that he would be the funniest teacher you ever had in your entire life. So... because he maxed out the funny stat, that itself is such a great strength that it propels him all the way to the top, but he would have nothing else. Nah, having nothing else is just too much of a compromise. I'm gonna put him in B tier.
Next guy to talk about, I actually think he would be pretty cool. I'm gonna put Moicano in the B tier. I'm not gonna put him in the A tier because...
you know what? I agree. That's so tricky, because he's actually really... He'd be at the top of B tier. Bro, imagine Moicano in your school. He would be the only teacher in the school who would actually like, oh bro, hey, Mr. Moicano, we got a LAN server set up. He would have a teacher nickname, but he would be the type like, oh, he'd actually get on the Halo Combat Evolved LAN party that everyone has in the like library. In front of all the staff and on the surface and everything, he would be like surface level, just all about the money, like all business, reading off the script, you know, the curriculum whenever the staff is watching and all that. But low key, he would actually like, in the little details, it would show he's got a heart of gold. It's just so tricky. Nah, dude, he would also be an effective teacher. Like, he wouldn't get tired of being a teacher. Like, he'd be good all around. I'm moving Dustin up. I can't put him in the same tier as Sean O'Malley, bro. And he's for sure better than Leon Edwards. I don't know what I was thinking, put him in D.
Moicano is a borderline A tier, but we'll throw him in the B tier just to be safe because Again, like I said, he's definitely going to be up there. Let me tell you something, motherfucker. Oh, sorry. Let me tell you something, guys. Like, that would be the only thing holding him back from the A tier. All right? Let's move on to another lightweight.
How would accidentally cussing here and there hold him back?
Paddy Pimblett in the B tier. I think he's another borderline A tier guy, but...
No, dude, you cannot put Paddy in the same tier as Money Moik. He wouldn't, like, crack under the pressure like Leon or Cejudo, but he would explode. Dude, 20 kids for like 7 hours. Paddy would get pissed in a way we've never seen him before, I swear to God. Nah, dude, Paddy would lose his mind. He's actually worse than Sean O'Malley, because Sean O'Malley would at least like be manageably chill if you did everything he told you to do, and you didn't piss him off too much. Paddy, I feel like, would just lose his cool with people being like kids being normal kids. I'm not gonna lie, I gotta match him up with his most recent matchup. They're going in the same tier, bro. Bedtime wants to put Paddy borderline A tier. You're out of your mind, dude. Both of these guys would be pretty similar in their quality as a teacher, and you really gotta think about how bad Michael Chandler would be. He'd be curving your grades based off your skin tone. You'd be measuring, oh, you're half black. Oh, I'll give you 10 extra points, but that's it. Like, really take a second to think about this. He would put the school in a massive, like, scandal. Some kid would stay back. My mom had to work late today. I don't have a ride home. I'm just waiting. Oh, I could drop you off at home. I've always wanted to do my part, to help out your kind, like and some crazy, like the school would get sued. Like, he would be a disaster for everyone in a educational environment, and Paddy would be around the same level. Not as disastrous, but it would take him about as much time to start creating problems. And Pantoja in C tier, which, like, Pantoja is so unmemorable. He's a decent guy, but he's so forgettable. I think he'd make for a good bus driver, actually. And Kai Kara France would also be like, he'd be mistaken for a student a lot, and he'd always try to like act hard to like show that he's actually a teacher and actually older, but really he'd be stuck in like a middle school mentality.
I'm putting Bilal Muhammad in the A tier. I think Bilal Muhammad is a funny enough people.
No. I mean, he's obviously not biased at all, right? Bilal Muhammad is the type to like, bro, look at him. He looks like two different people when you split it down the middle. He would definitely have some like sexual harassment allegations against him, bro. And you know what? They would definitely kick him out of the school for that. So he wouldn't even be a part of the school for very long. And you know what else? He would actually probably be innocent. He would definitely be innocent. And he would, it would just be framed, and they would still find him guilty just because everyone wants him out of there. No one would be mad. This is actually kind of tricky. I mean, if he stays at the school for long, I don't think he would stay at the school for long. I think he would get accused of something that like Paulo Costa would do. Paulo Costa would actually he'd probably fuck one of the students the day she turns 18. And then, I'm talking about Paulo Costa, and then he would like mastermind the whole thing. He would tell the girl to like say false allegations against Bilal. The same thing that he did, like just for the lulz, just for the fun of it. He definitely wouldn't stay at the school for long, bro. Imagine on like 9/11, right? Some kids are like making jokes as they always do. He would be fuming, bro. Then he actually would do some crazy shit. Imagine how offended he would get if a bunch of kids are making 9/11 jokes. It's crazy how like all the Dagestani, Chechen, not Dagestani, but the Muslim guys are in the bottom tier. I hope that trend doesn't continue. That's about to look really bad. I don't think he includes Islam or any other Dagestani on here, but I might just throw one in.
The next guy though, close the schools, bro. Close the fucking first and foremost.
Sean Strickland is fired immediately. Immediately. Nothing else can be done until this guy leaves the school. This is of utmost urgency and priority. Damn, would he be worse than Joe Pyfer? Because Joe Pyfer, I could totally see him like beating some kid to death, right? But Sean Strickland is just, he's more talk than anything else. He wouldn't actually do it. The void tier is not like lower than F tier. It's just omitting them from the list. Israel Adesanya is the same sort of problem as Strickland, but he's black, so people would give him a pass, and they wouldn't consider it that big of a deal, so he'd probably go in the F tier. Also, you could shut down Israel Adesanya a lot easier. He'd probably be a lot more sensitive. I mean, they're both pretty sensitive, or maybe Dricus is just a monster like that. We'll have to see if he makes Khamzat cry or not, but you would see Israel Adesanya code switching. You would see him acting totally differently. Some staff members walking by and he'd get bitched like, bro, we gotta include Jiří on this list. I don't know why Why didn't he include half these fighters? Yuri's a good guy, bro. He's the type of teacher to, like, if you say something wrong or whatever, like, to really teach you life lessons. He would be a type to, he would never embarrass you in front of the class. Never. He would always pull you to the side when no one else is paying attention and go, hey man, don't say that. He'd keep it classy, bro. Now, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, Ilia Topuria would not keep it classy. He would definitely embarrass you in front of the class and enjoy it. He'd probably like, oh, one day I'm gonna be principal. He'd probably like show up to school wearing a suit. And like anybody else it would be corny because he says a lot of corny stuff. But like with all of his effectiveness, he would completely counterbalance it, completely counteract it with like unhinged narcissism and confidence. Like, you know how teachers have like inspirational quotes and everything on the walls? Ilia would just have pictures of himself all over the walls. He would have all of his own quotes. He'd be relatively balanced. He wouldn't be liked by other teachers because other teachers would be like, yo, why this guy's classroom is full of all of his own trophies, his own medals from his own life accolades. But at the same time, all the other teachers that complain about him would not be as effective of a teacher as he is. So, and you know what? I honestly don't even need to hear what Bedtime has to say. Volk is going in S tier, bro. Let's just get this out of the way. First of all, he's the culinary teacher, the cooking teacher. And even though that's like typically, you know, you would imagine that to be like a girl is teaching the culinary class, he would, first of all, everyone would call him coach. Think about it, bro. Coach Volk, that just rolls off the tongue. Like, you really, if you imagine it, everything this guy does will put a smile on the faces of everyone at the school. His class would be challenging actually. He would give you a real challenge, but it would be so fun that even the guys who just want to like coast through school and just take all easy classes, they would still all immediately try to sign up for his class the moment the openings are there. He'd be the type to have all these like exciting group projects where people do all these interesting things. He'd be like, oh yeah, you can make it however you want to make it. You want to make a slideshow, you want to make it a video. He'd be critiquing the bits and the comedy moments in the videos and things like that. When staff is sitting in the class to like watch the teacher's performance, he would not change one bit. He would be exactly the same. And he would still be like bold and do his own thing and be exciting and teach in his own way. He'd give like life lessons on like humility and like how to handle loss and all that stuff. He would be doing all that and like assert dominance over the staff members of like, yeah, I'm not gonna fully just be an NPC and just give NPC education and just teach the curriculum. I'm gonna teach my own way. I'm actually getting excited thinking about like, that's how good of a teacher Volk would be. I want him to be a teacher when he retires because legit, he would make the school system better. He would make the entire school better as a whole. He would make everyone in the school happier. Like his vibe would be so good. He would uplift the whole school would be in a better mood when he shows up. Oh, damn, bro. I actually wish I had Volk as a teacher. Imagine the lessons he would teach on like humility and you know, how to filter out the fake and how to like get people in your corner and how to achieve, like be free emotionally and spiritually and all that. Like he would go in and like really teach good shit, dude. And if he ends up teaching, I'm gonna be jealous of his students. Dude, you know what he is? He's the teacher that gives you unlimited retakes for tests, unlimited chances. Mate, losses happen in life. Don't let school discourage you. Pick your head up. Try again harder next time. Losing's a part of winning, and this is an opportunity to learn. I don't know if you guys ever had that. I had a few teachers who would literally let you retake tests as many times as you wanted, and they would only count your highest grade. I got another S tier. Is this an S tier? It's borderline. It's at the bottom of S tier, but I'm gonna put him in A tier. Because he would be less of a teacher and more of an administrator. He'd be a really good teacher for the run that he goes on, but then he would start like giving talks and lectures on like a institutional level and reforming the school system. And he would actually have a much larger impact on the game as a whole, more than Volk, but he would do it from a more disconnected level. As a teacher, he would be a great teacher because I mean, he already like teaches other aspiring fighters and things like that. He already clearly has a love for teaching, if you've ever seen the videos of him doing so. But he probably wouldn't be a teacher that much. The school would probably want to fire him because he would not be an NPC and he would not conform and he would not be afraid to criticize the school because he loves the school enough to criticize the leadership when they're doing something wrong because he actually wants to see it be good. So they probably want to get rid of him. So they'd go, oh yeah, go into local government, go into politics, go fix the school system if you love it so much, and they probably push him out of there. Someone like GSP would be great as a mentor if you have them for multiple years, right? But teachers only get to stick with their students for a year, and really only technically 180 days. Dude, I'm really considering putting him in S tier because he would have crazy stories, like life-changing lore. He talks funny, he's humble, he loves what he does. He's like an anti-Jon Jones. GSP is the type, like, you would never actually know how smart he is in the subject that he's teaching because he would always, like, come down to the level of students and try to, like, build them up from there. When the parent-teacher conference happens, he's not going to say the same script that they say for every single student. Oh, your child has so much potential, but, they're just not performing in class the way that I know they could. The same script for everybody. Nah, he would know like the strengths and weaknesses of all that. Like he would say real shit to the parents, like real advice that could actually change their lives. I can't. He's just not. He wouldn't be as, to the fewer people that Volk would be teaching, he would be far more impactful on their lives. In honor of recently retired Anthony Smith, I'm gonna add him to this list and I'm gonna put him in D tier because, dude, I don't know if you guys ever had this. This pissed me off, dude. When I would turn something in and they'd be like, why don't you show your work? Like, I did it mentally. Oh, you need to put it on paper. If it's not on paper, I won't understand it. It needs to be on paper. Yeah, dude, fucking D tier. Honestly, nah. He wouldn't be, like, terrible. He wouldn't be detrimental and, like, damaging to the students and to the class. Dude, Anthony Smith's the type of guy to cry on the last day of school as a teacher. Oh my God, dude. Garry would just be the worst. The absolute worst. And all, like, the other bitch teachers would use him. They'd love him, dude. Imagine you're, like, chilling, like, having fun, like, play fighting, like, slap boxing or whatever, like, just having fun. How dare you bully each other? People have killed themselves over bullying. Bro, shut the fuck up. Bro, Garry is the type to, like, if you are 1 second late to class, he'll close the door and he won't let you in. And he'll make, like, a whole scene out of it. He'll spend the first 2 minutes of class every single day just trying to make a fool out of all the people that were even like a second late. You know those teachers like, oh, if you show up late, you're wasting the class's time, you're distracting the class. But he would take out time every day and waste even more time just trying to make them look bad. Nah, dude, he might be lower because he's so subservient and submissive. He's such a bitch. Imagine you're in class and you want to, like, you switch seats with someone and he'd be like, oh, but the school policy says that you're not allowed to, you have to sit in alphabetical, bro. And you know what else? He wouldn't just, like, punish those kids. He would punish the whole class. I always hated those teachers who would, like, one guy does something or, like, a group of, like, 4 kids or whatever at most does something, like, they'll cheat or they'll, like, it could even be something small, like one guy, like, brings a bag of Cheetos to class or whatever. It's, like, really not that big of a deal. And then they have to, like, make a whole scene out of it and punish the whole class so they can, like, make them angry and then direct their anger at that kid to, like, really punish that kid. He can't. Michael Chandler would fuck up the school. Yeah, Garry's worse. He's just straight up worse. As a teacher, nah, he's basically PC Principal from South Park. And while we're at it, Derrick Lewis is basically Chef from South Park, right? My balls is hot, He even sounds like Chef. He'd make a good lunch lady. I'm gonna put him in the void for that, actually, because he wouldn't really be a teacher. Oh shit, curveball. Honestly, he'd either be a, like, university professor or he would be, like, a principal of a school, right? And he'd be the type to, like, fuck one of the students, except for instead of, like, Paulo Costa doing it the day she turns 18, he would probably do it way earlier, and then he would just get blackmailed by the student to, like, give her perfect grades for her entire academic career and, like, give her a letter of recommendation and all that stuff, and she'd end up being valedictorian, and all he would do is glaze her the entire time, even though everyone knows how terrible she is. He'd be, oh, she's the best student ever. That's all he would spend his time doing. Jon Jones is the type of teacher who somehow, even though like everyone there knows that he's a terrible teacher and, like, a danger to the students, he would somehow manage to, like, through unknown means, work his way up to the top and end up being, like, vice principal. Is it fair to put him down here, though? Because he wouldn't do much as a teacher, right? Nah, but he wouldn't do much as a teacher because he'd always have people, like, trying to push him in a different direction. He'd be, like, spamming. He'd be like, nah, dude, let me teach the kids sex ed. Let me teach them sex ed. But they'd probably be like, no, go ahead, dude. How about we push you to let's give you an administrative role. Let's give you even more pay for that, you know? So they probably push him a little more, and so he'd have that going for him. So he wouldn't be like the absolute worst of the worst, like to the point where he gets kicked out of the school. But he probably wouldn't be a teacher for long. He probably would ascend and work his way up pretty quickly. DC is like the chill, like really fat gym teacher. Like, why is that the case, bro? Why are all like the math teachers so built? And the gym teachers are like really out of shape. You don't actually need to do much to be a gym teacher. I mean, you can probably do more, but DC's the type to like, you know, he'd probably just take attendance and then just everyone's doing like the fitness gram pace or whatever. He's just sitting there being lazy, you know? This picture was taken while he was still in the UFC. Let's make it a little more accurate to modern times. Tom Aspinall will be a pretty chill teacher. I feel like he'd be the type to like let kids like be on their phones. He'd let the students fight, honestly, bro. I feel like he would let students, like, if they tell him, like, hey, we agree to fight each other and we don't want anyone interfering, he would let students, like, beat each other into the ground, like pure meritocracy, you know? It's tricky, though, because he'd also be a pretty effective teacher. He's got, you know, some good analysis and specific analysis as well, which is really cool. But he would never be chill enough to, like, write you a hall pass to go ditch, but he wouldn't have a problem with you ditching if you can get away with it. He just wouldn't be any help at all. So bottom of B tier. Oh shit, curveball. Bet you weren't expecting this one. Out of nowhere, MMA Guru would be the pound for pound worst teacher to ever exist in the history of humanity, bro. Imagine you're in class, right? All the students are like looking at, like they think he's like really weird because he's like silently like muttering to himself, like whispering to himself, you know, going insane right in front of your eyes, and you go to him and you're like, hey, can you help me with this problem? And he's like, yeah, but first, have you seen my capped delts? Look, kid, I have capped delts. Don't look at the rest of me. Don't just look at the part of me that I'm flexing. Look, I have this capped delts, bro. I'm telling you. I swear to God, he'd be antisocial as fuck. He would have the opposite problem of Michael Chandler, where he would actually take points off if you were friendly with him. Dude, how is he supposed to discipline a class, like get them to do anything? He's in a wheelchair. He'd be looking up at the students. He can't even handle his own chat that roasts him to oblivion. It doesn't even matter like how well behaved the class is. There's no way he could actually control like and guide a class of real people IRL. And RDA is the janitor.